Well, welcome to Mindful Yoga. Please find a comfortable posture. So if you want to lie down or sit on a blanket, you're welcome to do either. And we'll start by just settling in and noticing what's present for us in this moment. It's brisk January morning. So as you settle into your pose, onto your mat, just noticing how you connect with your mat, the different body parts. Noticing what's on your mind. What's on your heart. And then taking a moment to, I'm changing my microphone, so I might have to say that again. Taking a moment to ask your wisdom body or your wise self, what intention would be beneficial for you to set for this practice or this day? Closing your eyes and allowing your wisdom body or wise self to respond to that question. And as always, if nothing arises in your awareness, you're always invited to ask yourself to be kind, compassionate, nonviolent in your practice. And so then you can maybe try different things with your hands. Maybe you'd like to put your palms on your belly, your thumbs on your belly button, and fingers below, or you might like one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. You might even put a block under your upper arm to support that higher hand, or you might like two hands on your heart or Anjali Mudra, whatever feels good. We're going to breathe a bit. So we want to bring the hands to a place where we can feel the movement of breath in the body with our hands. So just starting by breathing naturally and noticing the qualities of your breath. Perhaps allowing your facial muscles to soften, the lips, the jaws, eyes, brows, maybe even the shoulders, the whole body, just letting go of effort, tension, coming back to the breath, still just noticing, allowing the breath to be whatever it wants to be. Noticing how patient or not you can be with that. Just observing that. And then the invitation is to begin gradually, gently deepening the breath. So inviting it more fully into the body. Imagine you're bringing it all the way down into the belly and releasing it more fully. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling through either the mouth or the nose. So if you're exhaling through the nose, you might want to use Ujjayi breath to slow down the breath, that gentle constriction at the back of the throat, making that space smaller. Or if you want to breathe through your mouth, you can imagine you're breathing out through a straw. And so we'll just settle into this practice for a few moments. Sensing all the aspects of the breath, the sound of the breath, the pace, the fullness and emptiness in your body. Okay, and then we're going to start to separate the inhales into two parts. So we'll take a full inhale, pause briefly, and then just a tiny sip more of air. Another pause briefly, and then slow, steady exhale. And repeat. So again, it's a full breath in, a brief pause, another tiny sip of breath in, brief pause, and a slow, extended exhale. And repeat. Another addition to this practice you might consider is on your exhales, gently drawing the bandhas in and up. So mula at the base of the torso, the hammock-like sensation of moving from sit bone to sit bone, pulling that in and up toward the midline and up, and then the navel to spine, so that we're squeezing just a little more breath out of the body. You can start that bandha work at the beginning of your exhale or toward the end of your exhale, whatever feels more natural to you. And then you're also welcome to hum the exhale if that feels natural to you today. Just take a couple more rounds. And so finishing up with your next full exhale and returning to natural breathing. Just noticing this present moment experience in your body, your mind, your heart. All right. And we'll begin some gentle movement. So if you're not already lying down, it'd be a good time to lie down. You might use a blanket under your head and neck. We'll extend the legs long and straight and reach out the heels, stretching the toes apart gently. And then curling and stretching the toes, alternating a few times, feeling into your feet. What sensations do you feel as you move this way? And then circling ankles slowly with awareness, maybe 4 or 5 times in one direction and then the other. And then releasing that effort, just noticing the residual sensations in your ankles, maybe your feet, or even your lower legs. And then we'll inhale the arms overhead. Again, reach out the heels, toes might stretch apart. When you're ready to exhale, let's hug one knee in toward the chest. And you might have your hands around the back of your thigh. You might wiggle and see if you can lengthen the low back a little bit. And we'll keep this leg in, flexing both ankles, relaxing the shoulders. Now we're going to move this leg. So as you inhale, the thigh moves away from the belly. And as you exhale, the thigh moves in toward the belly. Again, we might extend the breath, slow inhale, slow and complete exhale. Allowing the belly to expand as you inhale. And then also perhaps drawing in the bandhas as you exhale. Or just a simple navel to spine action on the exhales. Maybe one more. And then we'll lower that foot to the mat, slide the leg long and straight, pausing to notice the differences in the left and right feet, legs, hips, maybe back body. Again, we'll inhale the arms overhead, reach out the heels, and exhale the other knee to chest. You might switch the clasp of your hands if you are clasping. And again, we'll inhale the thigh away from the belly. Allow the belly to expand. Exhale, hug the thigh in toward the belly as if you're squeezing the breath out. Taking it nice and slow. Breathing in fully, breathing out fully, and again, drawing the navel in or both bandhas to help release more breath. Maybe one last one. And we'll release that foot to the mat. Stretch the leg long and straight. Find a comfortable place for your hands. Pause to notice what sensations are present now. All right, so let's walk our feet in toward the sit bones, placing them hip width apart and bringing them as close to the sit bones as you can, as you feel comfortable. We're going to do some bridging, but we're going to lift the hips so slightly that you could leave the blanket under your head if it's low. If it's pushing your head forward, then I would remove it. We're going to also keep our arms long and straight beside the body, palms facing down. Now, let's ground the feet. So pressing down through the heels, the balls of the feet. Also, if you have a block handy, you might like to bring the block in between your thighs and hug the block too. So feet grounding, hands grounding, hugging the block. Inhale. Then as you exhale, just barely lift your hips, maybe 2 inches off the mat. And inhale slowly back down. Again, we're going to breathe slowly and move slowly. So exhale, grounding hands and feet, lifting hips, maybe 3 inches this time. Inhale as if you're lowering one vertebra at a time and lengthening the spine as you lower. Again, grounding hands and feet to lift as you exhale, maybe just 3 inches. Reaching the sit bones toward the heels as you lower back to the mat to lengthen the spine. And we'll repeat that a few more rounds. Exhaling to lift, keeping the chin slightly tucked, the jaw soft. Inhaling to lower. Just moving at your own pace a couple more times. and noticing what muscles are working. What do you feel? Are the hamstrings engaged? Are the glutes engaged? Etc. And then we'll release back to the mat, maybe set the block aside, come to constructive rest, find a comfortable place for your hands, and just let go of effort, of engagement, softening, noticing. All right. So let's hug the right leg back in, either hands around shin or thigh, and extend the left leg long and straight, flexing both ankles, lengthening through the crown as you inhale. That chin tucks in a little bit. Exhaling, engaging core. So Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, even the Jalandhara Bandha. So the throat pressing back toward the mat. And then on the next inhale, we'll lift the left leg up as much as it wants to go and exhale it back down and repeat. We're using the inhale to lift because the inhale is the energizing portion of the breath. And the exhale is the relaxing. If that just feels backwards or wrong, you can switch it up. Do whatever feels right for you. Couple more. Feeling into your hip, perhaps, or the back of your leg, or even the energy of the foot lifting and lowering. And then we'll leave the leg up and bring the right foot to the mat. Wrap the hands around the back of the left leg as you reach out your heel and toes come toward you. Now, gently grounding the right foot on your exhale, engaging the bandhas or core and lifting the head and shoulders off the mat. Maybe the hands stretch up towards your foot, maybe not. Let the shoulders relax away from the ears. And we'll breathe here for a few rounds. Keep it checking on your core engagement, navel to spine, maybe the hammock of your pelvic floor or a Mula Bandha, lifting in and up. And then we'll lower the upper body and slowly lower that left leg, relaxing both legs long and straight again to compare. Notice what differences you feel in the left and right legs, feet, hips, or wherever else you feel sensation. Then we'll hug the left leg in, hands around the shin or thigh. Again, you might switch the clasp of your hand, flexing both ankles. Inhale, lengthening through the crown, throat pressing toward the mat. Exhale, engaging core or bandhas. And then inhaling, the right leg lifts, whatever amount it gives you permission to lift it. And exhale down. And repeat. Slow, mindful, so with awareness, movement with breath. Relaxing shoulders and jaw. And then we'll keep the leg lifted. The right leg heel reaching up, toes down. Bring the left foot to the mat and the hands around the back of the right thigh or knee. Again, we'll engage the core. Draw the navel to spine and maybe lift your head and shoulders. Again, maybe your hands reach up towards your foot, relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears. Again, reaching out through the heel, core engaged, breathing, softening through facial muscles. And we'll lower the upper body and the right foot. And let's come back to constructive rest for a few breaths. And again, just notice. What sensations do you notice here and now? All right, so let's bring our feet back to parallel. Bring our arms long and straight beside the body and maybe tuck the shoulder blades down the back a little bit. Keep the back of the neck long as you reach out the crown of your head. And then you could bend your elbows so the fingers point toward the ceiling. We're going to press the elbows into the earth or mat and lift the shoulder blades. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Now we'll breathe into the heart center for a few breaths, feeling that open heart. And then wiggle your way back down, find your length, and soften, pausing to notice the residual sensations. All right, let's come on to one side. We'll keep the legs long and straight. Bring a blanket and or arm under your head so the head is in line with the spine. And we'll flex the ankles. Let that front hand come in front of you to help support you. A little gentle core engagement here. Grounding the outer edge of the bottom foot will lift the top leg to about hip height and exhale and lower. Again, slow and steady. Inhale, leading with the heel, and exhale back slowly down as if you're pressing something, right? A little bit of resistance, both on the way up and down. But face is soft. A few more. Keeping the toes pointing forward, right? Last one. Then we'll release the leg down. Let both knees bend any amount and just soften, releasing all muscle engagement. You can scan through the body and give permission to all these muscles to just let go. Notice. And then we're going to extend our legs again. Front arm in or top arm in front of you again, flexing through the ankles. Now we're going to turn the leg to face out. So inner thigh rotates toward the ceiling or toes as well. And we'll inhale to lift any amount. You can let the hip shift back if it wants to and exhale to lower. So inhale up, exhale down. No forcing, right? There should be no pain. We do not want to move to the point of pain. Sometimes discomfort is growth or, good for us because it stretches us, but we don't want pain. Pain is our signal to back off, slow down, change it. Maybe one or two more of these. And we'll release the leg back down, stack the legs, bend the knees, soften, just let go, notice. What do you notice now? I'm going to use the word a little bit of burning in my left hip. All right, let's make our way onto our bellies. And you might use your blanket under your forehead. We're going to bring our hands to cactus arms, so bent at the elbows, palms facing down. Legs long and straight, and maybe even a little bit wider apart than hip width. So kind of reaching toward the corners of the mat. Tops of the feet are grounded, so all 10 toes connecting. On your inhale, you might lift your head and heart. And on your exhale, engage your core. Find that Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. One more breath as you inhale, lengthen. And then as you exhale, we're going to lower. Keeping the legs grounded, feet grounded, and thighs pressing up. Inhale, lift the head and heart. Exhale, lower back down. A few more of those. Feel the strength of your legs, the core engaged. The heart, shoulders, and face are soft. Hi, Christine. I have a visitor here. And then let's release down and just soften. Again, letting all the muscles release. So scanning awareness through the body, giving them permission to let go as you breathe. Might feel good to bend your knees and rock your feet from side to side a couple times. And then we'll straighten the legs again, grounding the toes, tops of the toes, pressing the thighs up, anchoring hips to the mat. And this time we're going to lift just the arms so the forehead stays on the blanket or mat. And then inhaling, lift the arms to shoulder height. Exhaling, slowly lower them back down. Or if you want to lift your head and heart as well, you can. Keeping the feet grounded, thighs pressing up. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Core stays engaged. We're strengthening back muscles here. Postural muscles. All right, let's lower down, find a comfy spot to settle and breathe. Again, scanning awareness through the body to give each muscle permission to soften. Now you might just roll onto your other side. I'm going to shift so I can face you. I'm going to come back to our other side to straight legs, grounding the outer edge of the bottom foot, head supported with arm and or blanket, top arm in front of you for balance, a little bit of core engagement. And then as you ground the outer edge of the bottom foot, we'll inhale, leading with the heel, lifting that leg up, and exhale back down with a little bit of resistance. And repeat. You might use the Ujjayi breathing or humming breath. Whatever feels natural, beneficial. Couple more. Relax the face. And we'll lower that leg, release it, let the knees bend, soften through the body. Notice what sensations are present now. We'll extend the legs again, flexing ankles, rounding the outer edge of the bottom foot, little bit of core engagement, and then turning the toes and the thigh, the inner thigh toward the ceiling. And then we'll inhale to lift any amount. Let the hip shift back if it wants to naturally. Exhale, reach out your heel as you lower. And repeat. Slow, steady movement with awareness moving through the body. What are you sensing? Stay out of pain. So always adjusting, listening to the language of sensation, the language your body uses to tell you what's good or not good for it. Couple more. And again, we'll release the leg, maybe bend the knees, just soften. Scanning through the body, letting go of effort, muscle engagement, noticing. We're going to come back onto our stomachs, coming very briefly into a cobra. So feet are about hip width apart this time. forehead on your blanket or mat, hands coming next to your ribs, palms down, elbows pulling in, grounding the feet, pressing the thighs up, anchor the hips to the mat. Inhale, lift the head and heart. Exhale, engage your core, navel to spine, maybe Mula Bandha as well. Shoulder blades move down the back as the elbows pull in. Lengthen the back of the neck so you're looking down. Couple breaths here. Feel the strength of your legs, softness in your face. And then we'll push down through the hands, press up and back into either a child's or a puppy. So puppy, the hips are lifted, forehead on a support. And child's, the knees move apart a little bit more and the hips move toward the heels. Again, forehead is supported by your mat or a block. And we'll soften here for a few breaths. Just notice what sensations are present, what muscles can you relax. Also, maybe checking in with your intention for this practice. And then we'll walk our hands in toward the body and come to a seated posture. So a Sukhasana, and sitting on our blankets to elevate the hips, which levels the pelvic bowl, which extends the spine, which allows more space for our organs and breath, all sorts of good things. All right, so we'll just gently press the fingertips down to remind us to lengthen up. Imagine that imaginary puppet string from the back of your head lifting you up, which tucks the chin slightly. You might pull the throat back to align the head between the shoulders. And then we're going to inhale, both arms overhead, palms face up. And then we'll stay here, rooting the sit bones into the earth, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And we're going to come into a little bit of a flow. So on the exhale, the elbows bend and the shoulder blades squeeze in toward the spine. And then inhale. You might allow a little bit of rounding, tucking the chin as you extend the arms overhead. And again, exhale, we'll lift the heart, maybe lift your gaze, shoulder blades squeeze in as the elbows bend. Inhale, tiny bit of rounding the spine, looking down as the arms rise. Just flowing through that a couple times. All right, and then let's give ourselves a hug. Kind of wiggle out any tension, whatever feels good here. And release. And maybe let's switch feet. Check in on how they want to settle. Sit bones even, lengthening up. Let's roll the shoulders a few times, up, back, and down. So toward the ears, behind, and down. All right, and then we'll keep our palms facing up, maybe resting them on your thighs to keep the chest open, the shoulders open. And we'll start to look from side to side, slowly keeping the back of the neck long, that imaginary string from the back of the top of your head, lifting up. Maybe inhaling to one side and exhaling to the other. And then if you want to, you could trace your collarbones with your chin. So then maybe it becomes inhaling to look sort of up, exhaling to transition to the other side. And then we'll look down toward the feet for a breath. And then lift the chin back to neutral. And check in. Do you need to wiggle any tension out? Take a sip of water? I do. All right. So let's circle our wrists a few times. Warm them up before we come onto hands and knees. One direction and then the other. And then we might also flex and extend a few times. No forcing, right? Be gentle. Maybe circle your wrists. Fan the fingers. Get all those synovial fluids flowing. And then gently shake them out. All right. So we're going to be on our hands and knees for a bit. So if you want a blanket under your lower legs, I'm going to use one. You're welcome to. So folded edge goes under the ankles. Tops of the feet are on the mat. Wrists under shoulders, fingers spread wide, and you can check in. Does it make sense in your shoulders or neck to have the fingers pointing in toward the midline or straight forward or out to the side a little bit? You check it. All right, so now we're going to ground the balls of the hands. So push the mat away. Let the heart rise toward the ceiling slightly. Inhale, lengthen through the crown, looking straight down. Exhale, engaging bandhas. Mula at the base of the torso, Uddiyana, navel to spine. Find your breath. Relax the face. And we'll extend the left leg straight back, reaching out the heel. Lift the heart toward the shoulders, shoulders away from ears. And then we're going to exhale, drawing the knee and the nose toward each other. And inhale, straighten the leg again. Exhale, rounding the back a little bit. And inhale, extend. Keeping the hips even, equidistant from the mat. Couple more times. Now we'll extend the leg, lengthen through the crown, looking straight down. Again, you're grounding through the hands to raise the heart. Now we'll bend the knee. And we're just going to very gently and slowly lower the knee toward the floor and then lift the foot toward the ceiling a few times. Sometimes we do that pulsing. This is like a slow motion pulsing with a little bit more movement in the hip. Check your core, re-engage if you need to. Relax the jaw. Lift the heart toward the throat. One more. And then we'll lower the knee and press back to a resting pose. So maybe child's big toes come toward the midline, knees away from each other, and soften, relaxing the forehead on a support. Just check in with your arms, what feels best for your shoulders and neck. We'll take a few breaths here. So we might come back to our two-part inhale, breathing fully into the belly, pausing and then inviting another little sip of breath, pausing, and then a slow extended exhale, either through a hum or a ujjayi or that imaginary straw through the lips. A couple of those. Once again, we'll come onto hands and knees. Remember, your ankles might be supported by the blanket and feet on the mat. Wrists under shoulders, checking in on the turning in or out of the hands, grounding through the balls of the hands to press the heart up, lengthen through the crown. Exhale, engage your core, find your breath. And we'll extend the right leg back. Reach out the heel, toes point down, and a little bit in toward the midline. And then on the exhale, we'll bring the nose and knee toward each other. Inhale, extend. And repeat a few rounds. Now we'll keep the legs straight. Actually, Now we'll bend the knee. We'll keep the leg up, bend the knee, and then slowly lift the foot toward the ceiling and lower the knee toward the mat. Just a few times, a very slow motion, pulsing the leg up and down, feeling into the muscles. What muscles are engaging? What's stretching? And then we'll release the knee to the mat. And again, press back to your resting pose, child or puppy, or a childish puppy. Take a few breaths. This time, let's focus less on the breath, focus more on scanning awareness through the body, giving permission for all the muscles to release, to soften. All right, once again, we're going to come on to hands and knees. This time we're going to tuck our toes under. So knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, grounding through the balls of the hands, lengthen through the crown. Inhale, exhale, engage your bandhas. Core engagement, and then push down through the hands to lift the knees any amount, maybe 2 inches, maybe 1, maybe 6, maybe 8. Or you could kind of come all the way up to straight legs and then bend. See what works best for you here, flowing or holding. Check in. Okay, then let's all meet in a downward dog. So we might wiggle our feet back because we didn't extend our arms out in front of us. And then we might widen our feet a little bit. Let the heels lift and lower a couple times. And grounding through the hands, the spine straight, reach up through the sit bones. On your exhale, engage your core. We'll come to shift forward into plank. And then inhale back to downward dog and flow through that a few times. Exhale to plank. Thighs are strong, core engaged. Inhale, soften back to downward dog. Let's all meet in downward dog again for another breath. And then we'll bend our knees and walk the feet toward the hands, coming to Uttanasana, forward fold. Let the knees stay soft. The only thing lifting are the sit bones. Everything else is releasing toward the earth, softening. Let your head drop. Your belly soften. Breathe fully. And then we'll bring our hands to our thighs. We'll press us up with a straight back, coming all the way up to standing. And slow motion, wiggle out any tension. All right. And it's already time to come back down. Okay, so let's move the blanket off of the mat if there is one, and face the short edge of your mat, stepping the feet apart, hip width apart. We'll roll the shoulders up, back, and down, letting the palms face forward. Fingers reach toward the earth, shoulders relax away from ears. Grounding through the big toe mounds and the outer heels. Feel what that does to your muscles of your legs. Imagine you're hugging a block between your thighs. Sit bones very subtly reach toward your heels to level the pelvic bowl so we're not over or under arching. And then inhaling, arms sweep forward and overhead. And stay here for a breath or two, rooting down into the earth, lifting up to the sky. And then exhale. Next exhale is chair pose. Pull the hips back. Engage the core. Lift through the crown. Shoulder blades down the back. Heels trying to pull apart, but they don't budge. Couple more breaths. Soften the jaw. And we'll float back down to a forward fold for a few breaths. Plant your hands, shoulder width apart. Step the feet back, downward dog. Grounding through the balls of the hands to lengthen the spine up and back. Couple breaths. And we'll bring our knees to the mat. And we're going to make our way gently onto our backs. Whatever that looks like for you. And you might use your blanket under your head and neck again. We're going to do a little single leg Apanasana before we come into Shavasana. So on the inhale, reach out the heels, arms reach overhead. Exhale, one knee to chest. Inhale, extend, reach. Exhale, other knee to chest. One more time each side. You might switch the clasp of your hands each time. And now, while you're there with one knee to chest, let's bring the other one in too. You might like to rock from side to side. Maybe turn your head the opposite direction the legs rock. Come back to center. One more deep breath in. And exhale, feet to the mat. And we'll slide the legs long and straight. Find a comfortable place for your hands. Could be palms on your belly, or you want to open your heart more. You might tuck your shoulder blades down the back and bring the, sorry about that sound. I don't know what that was. Anyway, shoulder blades down the back and palms facing up. Let's take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, let go of any effort, tension in the body. Maybe this time we'll one more deep breath in and then exhale out loud with a sigh. Just let it all go. Feeling the support of Mother Earth beneath you. Softening through the soles of your feet. Softening at the hips and the belly, and the chest. Softening through the shoulders, down the arms, into the hands. And bringing awareness to your face, relaxing your lips, the muscles of your tongue, jaw, behind and around your eye sockets, the space between the brows, the forehead, temples, top of your head, and the spaces of your inner ears. Just be in the stillness, allowing the breath to flow naturally and gently observing the breath. As you remain relaxed and reclined, perhaps bringing awareness back to your breath, or gently and gradually deepening, feeling the body fill up and empty, acknowledging this life force, this prana that nourishes every cell of your body. What a gift. And acknowledging that with each exhale, we're releasing impurities, that which no longer serves us. And then checking in with the body to see now what feels like wiggling. Maybe your head wants to turn slowly from side to side, or you want to wiggle fingers and toes, or open and close your mouth slowly. Circle wrists and ankles. Just check in and then ask your body what it needs or wants before rolling to your right side, where we'll support the head and pause for a few more breaths. Again, when you're ready, turning your heart gently toward the earth, you might allow your top leg to extend a little. Use both hands to slowly press your body upright. We'll find one final Sukhasana, or easy pose, to close our practice. So again, you might sit on your blanket or support to help with that extension, that opening of the body. And maybe inhaling, arms rise any amount. Exhaling, hands come to the heart center in Anjali Mudra. Maybe a gentle bow of your head, and take a moment to acknowledge yourself coming to your mat today for this body, mind, spirit, holistic practice. Acknowledging all the yogis that came before us to provide these beneficial practices. And may you meet life as it is, with an open mind and an open heart. May you move beyond your mat with awareness, acceptance, kindness, and compassion toward yourself and all beings. Namaste. And thank you so much for practicing with me today.